found it. Thank you. Thank you, dear. Here, take this. It was my husband's, and he always said it was lucky. If only he didn't forget it on his last campaign. Asterisk, sniff, asterisk.
Thanks for the dust, adventurer. Here's your cash, and here is a token from associates of mine. You might find it useful. Useful.
Adventurer, there's a new threat in Elwyn Forest. Murlocs are swimming up the streams of eastern Elwyn, scaring away fish and attacking gentlefolk. I warned Marshal Dugan, but he's more worried about the gnolls and the bandits. He's not convinced that the Murlocs are a danger. Please, adventurer, speak to Dugan and persuade him to send more troops to the east.
This is bad news. What's next, dragons? We'll have to increase our patrols near that mine. Thanks for your efforts, adventurer. And hold a moment. I might have another task for you. Thanks to you, we know the Fargo Deep Mine is infested with kobolds. Now we need a scout to investigate the more distant Jasper Lode mine. Explore Jasper Lode and confirm any kobold presence. To reach the mine, travel east along the road until you reach the Tower of Azora. From the tower, head north and you'll find the mine in the foothills.
Нямах даже, брат. Даже нямах за хамстринг, бе. Ти разбираш ли, бе? Не успя да събера 10 рейджове. Уни сме убиха ма от бой с рейджове, човек. Не ми даде 10 рейджове. Не успявам да ги хамстринга. I couldn't hamstring them. Hamstring. They fucking killed me from enragement. I couldn't fucking hamstring them. I didn't have rage, mate. I just didn't have rage. Kova.
Congratulations.
Чорова. Стара се. Не виждам да ми правят нищо още. Що? Аз не мога да го обясня това, брат. Чао. Нищо не се вижда, човек. Целия комбат ти го няма, брат. Целия комбат ти го няма, човек. Това става, защото ме дисконектва, брат. Трябва да изляза. So I have to go out from the game and enter again. That's here.
The Joe Rogan experience.
I'm drawing a blank on the
Warrior,
what is
meu
it called
man.
when your body sets its time for the day from the sun and the
Circadian
morning.
rhythm.
Yeah,
Пето ниво.
it's supposed to be great for that. So it benefits your sleep a lot, right? To get sunlight early in the morning.
Yeah,
'Cause
supposedly.
it sets your body's clock, your mind's clock.
I've never had a problem with sleep,
Yeah, me neither.
luckily. I'm
Yeah,
just one of those guys.
that
I can
suck.
suck.
Yeah, I have friends that really struggle with sleep.
My wife struggles with sleep.
Yeah.
I can go to sleep on a fucking train
Yeah.
station floor.
Yeah, I
Just
don't get
lie
it at
down.
all. And I'm not super empathetic about it too, because sometimes like my wife will be up like doing something in the middle of the night, and she's like she can't sleep. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, go back to sleep. She's like, do you think I want to?
Yeah. Some people just can't sleep.
Yeah.
Well, Jocko only sleeps like 4 hours a night.
Dude, that's not good for you.
He says he doesn't need any more.
Yeah, but
I
his
don't
brain
know.
does.
I don't know. I don't
Maybe
know.
not like for functioning right now, but like long term.
Yeah.
Like you ask Andrew Huberman, and that's one of the things you can do to like help your brain function as long as possible. And like Alzheimer's and all kinds
Yeah.
of brain issues, like long term. Sleep is a major factor.
Yeah, it's a major factor if they look at the correlation between like the amount of hours you sleep and the incidence of Alzheimer's. There seems to be some sort of
Yeah.
connection.
Huge.
Yeah, I don't know. Jocko's a different kind of animal, though. Maybe,
He's definitely seems built different.
yeah, maybe he just doesn't need it. I think there's certain people. I think Arnold is one of those people too. Schwarzenegger. I think he said he only sleeps a few hours a night.
Yeah.
I think there's certain people that just like they have just different requirements. There are people that like physically don't need as much sleep. Like everybody needs some sleep, but I think there are people. I'm not one of them. I can notice the difference between 6 and 8 hours. I know it's a big difference. 6 hours, I'm like, whoa, I gotta push. There's an extra push. Whereas 8 hours, good to go.
Yeah.
You know.
I sleep 6 or 7 hours a night. But I feel like everybody's different. Like there must be outliers to only sleep 4 hours a night and function well. It must not affect your hormones as much as most people. Because like I feel like most people, if you sleep 4 hours a night, it's terrible for your hormones.
It
It
really
causes
depends.
a crazy crash in your hormones.
I think it really depends on what you're doing. Like for some people, like if you're only sleeping 4 hours, but your job is very engaging and very intense, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of adrenaline, you're fired up. Like at the end of that day, you're probably gonna crash hard, but you might be able to pull it off and keep going. But if you have like some fucking paperwork job and you only slept like 4 hours, you're gonna be yawning and falling asleep. You're gonna be barely able to get through it.
Or even this job, there's like the brain function aspect. You know?
Oh, here it is.
Huge.
After 10 years search, scientists find second short sleep gene. After a decade of searching, UC San Francisco scientists who identified the only human gene known to produce natural short sleep, lifelong nightly sleep that lasts just 4 to 6 hours yet leaves individuals feeling fully rested, have discovered a second. It says, before we identified the first short sleep gene, people really really weren't thinking about sleep duration in genetic terms, said Ying-Hu Fu, PhD, professor of neurology and member of the UCSF how do you say that? Wheel Institute for Neurosciences. Fu led the research teams that discovered both short sleep genes, the newest of which is described in a paper published August 28, 2019, in the Journal of Neuron. According to Fu, many scientists once thought that certain sleep behaviors couldn't be studied genetically. Sleep can be difficult to study using the tools of human genetics because people use alarms, coffee, and pills to alter their natural sleep cycles, she said. These sleep disruptions, the thinking went, made it difficult for researchers to distinguish between people who naturally sleep for less than 6 hours and those who do so only with the aid of an artificial stimulant. And natural short sleepers remained a mystery until 2009, when a study conducted by Fu's team discovered that people who had inherited a particular mutation in a gene called DEC2 averaged only 6.25 hours of sleep per night. Study participants lacking the mutation averaged 8.06 hours. The finding provided the first conclusive evidence that natural short sleep is, at least in some cases, genetic, but this mutation is rare, so while it helped explain some natural short sleepers, it couldn't account for all of them. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Good. I think Jocko is just an animal.
Yeah, this must vary.
I think he
person to
likes
person.
being tired. I think he likes waking up tired and then pushing through it.
He's probably so used to suffering on a daily that just becomes his baseline. If he's not suffering, he probably doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Right?
Bro, I mean, fucking go to his Instagram. How many photos are there of his watch?
Yeah.
At 4:30 in the morning.
He's got the
Just says
worst
go
but
time.
best Instagram, but the worst
Yeah.
Instagram. You're just like another watch photo. But you know he's getting after it.
Just be a pop star. Be Jocelyn.
This is who I want to be right now?
You want to sell tickets, right? I got a great idea.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So what I see in the Amazon is traces of a lost science, a scientific mindset. Can I show some pictures of these
Please,
vehicles?
please.
Hook up the magical HDMI. I'll just show a few slides of them. I forget which side the HDMI is in. I think it's in that side.
Careful with that.
Are we on screen?
We will be momentarily.
Yeah, so this shows the Amazon. 6.7 million square kilometers. There's still 5.5 million left covered by rainforest. That's bigger than the entire subcontinent of India. And hardly any archaeology has been done. And the archaeology that is being done is fascinating. And it's particularly in the state of Acre, in the southwest of Brazil, that we're seeing these extraordinary geoglyphs. Now I'm on the left there. That's Martti Parsanen from the University of Helsinki. And that is Fabio Filho, who's the LiDAR expert, and that's Alceu Ranzi, who's a Brazilian geographer and archaeologist. And we're looking at the latest LiDAR discoveries, and there I'm about to take off in a plane with these two guys. It was just incredible to fly over there. I've flown over the Nazca lines many times, but to fly over this and to see these huge earthworks on a scale of hundreds of meters, sitting there, often encroached on by farms, was very, very, very exciting.
And what's the conventional explanation for these things?
There is no conventional explanation because really it's only begun to be studied. Alceu first noticed them on an overflight more than 20 years ago, but it's only relatively recently that they've started to get the funding. And I want to pay tribute to Eugene Zhong, who is a philanthropist, who has provided funding for these guys to continue their work, and who's also provided funding to the Comet Research Group, and who's also provided funding for the DMT research that's being done at UCSD.
What's his name?
Eugene Zhong. He's a brilliant
Eugene
guy.
Zhong.
J-H-O-N-G. He's a brilliant philanthropist, and he's so open-minded, and he's looking to support research in areas that the mainstream just won't touch.
That's amazing.
So we're
Good for
looking at
him.
Fazenda Cipoal here, where we have an octagon with rounded corners. And then this is Santa's shot of the same place. And you can see what's going on. You see the smoke in the background there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Amazon burning. That's settlers clearing the Amazon to create more farms. But in the foreground, we have this enormous geometrical event, which is a huge oval surrounding a square.
And did they find this once they started clearing? Is that when this?
This was found as a result of the clearances. That's
Okay.
how it became. Archaeologists became aware that these things exist.
So before that, this was completely covered with trees.
Completely covered with rainforest. It was only it's a sort of mixed blessing or mixed curse, if you like,
Right.
because the clearances made it possible for us to know that these things exist. But the clearances ultimately will destroy the entire Amazon if they're allowed to continue. Jacosar, on the left, a square surrounding a circle. And here's a couple of Santa shots of Jacosar. You see there's a large square earthwork and a circle in it. That's almost, not quite, but almost like the Greek exercise of squaring the circle. It's like geometrical exercises are taking place here in the Amazon. Again, a square with these curious scallops cut into the side of it and a circle. There's just so much of this stuff. Taquino, absolutely giant geoglyph. And these things really, on the old view of the Amazon, shouldn't exist. They involve enormous expenditure of effort. Creating these earthworks is a huge job. If there was a lot of stone in the Amazon, I think we'd see stone circles on them as well. There's one place further north called Rego Grande where there is an earthwork with a stone circle in it because stone is locally available.
So do you think this was the base of a structure? Like, what is the speculation?
No, I don't think so. I've talked to indigenous people there who still respect and revere them. And they say that they were for shamanic journeying, that the population would gather within them, that there would be certain areas that might be reserved for the shamans. For example, the square on the left, those two cut out areas, top left and right of that square, it suggested that shamans were in there, and the rest of the population were in the other area, and they were undertaking visionary journeys, perhaps using ayahuasca. Of course, the Amazonian peoples are experts in the properties of indigenous plants.
So this is their folklore, or this is their story?
Yes, this is the story of indigenous,
so that's
indigenous
what they
people.
say,
I talked to an Apurina elder, and he said, we don't know exactly why these places were made. They were made so long ago, but we respect them, we revere them, and we think that they were used by shamans in the distant past.
So they were aware of them before the clearing?
Yes, they were aware of them before the clearing, and
Did
they
they use
revered them. Yes, they used them, and they still have community gatherings in them. No, they weren't a base for structures. I'm drawing attention here to Severino Calazans, this large square on the left there, which has coincidentally the same footprint as the Great Pyramid of Giza. It just shows you the size of that enormous earthwork. But it's a mystery. More work needs to be done, and much more needs to be surveyed. And thanks to LiDAR, that can be done non-invasively. We can spot these things. Very small teams can go in and do a bit of excavation there and figure out what was going on. I think the story is going to go back further and further into the past.
Is there any evidence of wood structures? Like, did they make buildings out of wood back then?
Not that I'm aware of.
When did people start using wood as a structure?
Oh, I think you can trace wood back as a structure hundreds of thousands of years.
But when did they start using it in, like, if you see like the ancient Mayan civilizations, what you find in the Amazon, you don't find ancient wood structures, do you?
I think that's largely an artifact of the fact that wood doesn't preserve very well.
Right. So how do we know that there weren't wood structures?
There may well have been.
Over these.
There may well have been, which
Right.
have just rotted away
Right.
and gone. There may well have been wooden structures there.
Because it kind of looks like foundations.
It does look like foundations, and it's just a very weird thing. But I think the main point is
someone made it.
Someone made it,
Yeah.
and it involved a very large amount of organized labor in order to make it. There had to be the will and the intent in order to do that. It's interesting that the patterns are geometrical.
And are they geometrical, like with the perfect length? And
Yes,
like
yes, they're very
match up with each other?
they're very, very good. Fazenda Pirana and Severino Calazans are both aligned to true astronomical north. That's different from compass north. That requires astronomy. You can't get true north without using astronomy. So this tells us not only was there a culture that was capable of creating large-scale public projects, but also they had astronomers. It's a good mystery. The other thing is the geometrical patterns are very common experience in ayahuasca visions in altered states of consciousness. Our culture tends to despise altered states of consciousness, although fortunately that's changing. But in the Amazon and many indigenous cultures, they're regarded as extremely important. That we can't confine ourselves to the everyday wide awake state of consciousness that requires us to interface with the physical world. There are other states of consciousness which are also valuable and which bring teachings. And it's just one of those facts that most people who drink ayahuasca, most of the time, at some point will experience geometrical visions. So there's a question, is there a connection here between the use of ayahuasca and the geometrical patterns? There's a huge rock wall has been found in the Colombian Amazon, Serra de la Lindosa, which I'm hoping to get to this year. 8 kilometers long, covered in rock paintings. The rock paintings are dated more than 12,000 years old. They show extinct megafauna. They show giant sloths which went extinct during the Younger Dryas, for example. And they also show the kind of entities that are seen in ayahuasca visions. They show the same sort of patterns, the same geometric patterns that are seen in ayahuasca. So there's a sense that...
Do you have any images?
Serra de la Lindosa.
You're connected to the...
Yeah, I don't have images of La Lindosa.
Oh, maybe you can Google it.
But if
or give the plug back
I'll
to
give the
Jane.
plug back. I was trying to Google it and I didn't find anything. And I might have spelled or guessed wrong. On
How do you spell it?
La Lindosa.
La Lindosa.
Let me just...
I got it.
You're going to have to give him the cord real quick, and then he'll give it back to you.
It's literally an 8-kilometer Sistine Chapel in the in the Colombian Amazon. That's the other thing. I mentioned there's not a lot of rock in the Amazon. Where there is rock, they used it. There's rock paintings all over the Amazon where rock is available. These kind of things, yeah, that's it. These are characteristic of ayahuasca visions, but in this case, they're more than 12,000 years old. Now, does that prove they were using ayahuasca 12,000 years ago? No. But
That's very similar to like a tryptamine vision.
Totally. It does suggest that some tryptamine was being accessed at that time and resulting in these visionary images.
Boy, they shitty drawers, weren't they? Their drawing was terrible.
But bear in mind that they're clambering 100 feet up a sheer cliff in order to.
Still, guys, do a better job. Ridiculous.
These paintings.
Those people were so fat. Are those people or sea turtles? What are those things? It's really interesting to see. So this is 11,000. How old? 12,000 plus.
Yeah, 12,000 plus years old.
It's interesting because if you see the paintings that they found in that cave in France, those are 30 plus thousand years old.
Oh yeah,
right?
there's paintings in France. If you go to Chauvet,
Yeah.
you're looking 36,000 years old.
Can you go to those, Jamie?
Hohenstein-Stadel in Germany.
That's that amazing Werner Herzog documentary.
They often have.
I think it was the Cave of Dreams.
Cave of Dreams. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They often
Look at
have.
that.
We're looking at Lascaux. Hang on the. Yeah, we're looking at Lascaux there. The bull painting there.
They were
Interesting.
better artists.
They were.
They were.
I have to confess,
They were quite a bit better.
This art is very good. If you go, Jamie, if you go to the NPR, the painting of a bull, one step left from where you are. That. This is very interesting. There has been an argument made by a couple of astronomers that what is depicted there is the constellation of Taurus, and that in itself is heresy, because archaeologists who want to give everything to the Greeks say that it was the Greeks who invented the constellations of the zodiac, and not shown.
Why do they think that represents the constellation?
Because of the 6 little dots, which are not, I think, on the head. I think they're somewhere behind, not in this picture, which is often how the Pleiades are seen. They're seen. Actually, there are 7 Pleiades, but often to the naked eye you see 6. And the positioning of the Pleiades in relation to the constellation of Taurus is
that it right there?
Is the basis for that argument. It could be. I'm not sure. It's so long since I've looked at this, but I know that there are six dots there. So this cave art was going on all around the world. It's found that some of the oldest art has been found in Indonesia. You know.
Oh, here it is. Here's the.
Yeah, there's the Pleiades. The whole argument about the Pleiades. It's those dots, exactly. The ones you pointed to above the back of the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is how the Pleiades are often seen with the naked eye.
Can you go back to the other image? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's an argument. It's not accepted by mainstream archaeology because of their narrative, which is that the discovery of the constellations of the zodiac is given to the Greeks or perhaps to the Mesopotamians before the Greeks. It's not thought that any human culture.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
When did you realize that you had that kind of crazy power? Because it's kind of funny that a guy who started out grappling and didn't do any sparring at all for his first 4 MMA fights was one of the most dangerous strikers in the sport.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up playing baseball and threw really hard. And then, you know, when I started and not sparring, started MMA, you know, I'd hit the pat or, you know, focus mitts and everybody'd say, oh shit, you hit hard.
It's just natural.
But yeah, so I guess it just took me a while to figure out where to put it.
There's a few, I think Takanori Gomi started out as a pitcher, which makes sense. You see the way that guy throws punches, just fucking whips his whole body into it like a fastball.
Put a lot of weight into it.
Yeah. That's actually probably a great thing to start out with, just to learn how to put a lot of force behind your arm.
Driving with the legs and everything.
Yeah, it completely makes sense when you think about it. Because you think about how many guys practice with medicine balls now. You know, they whip medicine balls against the wall to advance your punching power.
Yeah, it's hard to teach. I mean...
Yeah, you either have power or you don't have power.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get better at mechanics to make it harder, but not like what a lot of guys have naturally.
Right. Isn't it wild? That's a crazy thing because you can't really tell sometimes by looking at guys. Like there's guys that just
Like
look.
me.
Well, you look pretty strong, but there's some guys like they just don't look like they carry that much power, but they have crazy power.
Right.
It's weird. Power's a weird thing.
No, I agree.
Like if you either have nuclear power or you don't. You know.
But, and again, I think a lot of that is mechanics, but a lot of those mechanics come naturally. Like some of those you know, pitchers that can throw the ball so goddamn fast.
Yeah.
And some of them are skinny as fuck. You know,
Yep.
how the hell that, you know, they just whip that thing around.
And then there's also your frame. You know, like some guys just have bigger shoulders, bigger
Right.
hands, they're just naturally designed to hit things more
Right.
leverage points. Yeah, it's just when you think back, like as a pioneer in the sport, I mean, it's pretty wild what you guys did. Pretty wild that you entered into the sport that at the time was just kind of a way to make some money. I mean, when I started doing the post-fight interviews, it was banned from cable. The only way you could get it was DirecTV. I actually got DirecTV.
That's when you
specifically.
started?
Yeah, 97.
Because it was, I feel like it was right after, it wasn't banned from cable yet until after I fought.
I
On
think it was
UFC
banned
17.
from one of those years it was banned from cable. And,
And
there
then-
was a lot of shenanigans with like Budweiser and you remember like McCain? McCain was trying to keep it out,
должна
calling it human cockfighting.
Ти ще да ме убия, когато става.
No, most MMA guys weren't because it was so ridiculous. There was no deaths in MMA to speak of.
Right.
Not like in in boxing, which we have a few every year.
Right.
And they were trying to say it was more dangerous. I'm like, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I mean, everything's dangerous. Combat sport's dangerous. But to say that MMA is more dangerous, it's just ignorance. You just didn't understand what was happening.
No,
Премини на пълна скорост с Acer Nitro 17. Мощен геймърски лаптоп с 13-то поколение Intel Core i7 и RTX 4060. Сега на топ цена от 2990.
I've heard that over the years, a lot of different things. And
Yeah.
I got nothing bad to say about MMA. I mean, I grew up as a wrestler, and kind of competing's what I've done my whole life, and yeah, I don't feel like it affected me in a bad way at all. And if anything, it was positive things that made me tougher, made me, have more drive and with other things in my life.
Well, you're very fortunate that you came out of it on the other end, healthy.
Yeah.
We know guys who haven't.
Right. No, I know.
There's a few guys that are pretty.
I'm not
busted
saying
up.
that it hasn't affected some guys. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Looks to me
fortunately,
you've seen
I
quite a bit of combat in your
went
time,
through it
adventurer.
fairly
If you haven't
good.
already, you
No,
should
you went through it
report
great.
And I think a
Ryan
lot of it
Stoutman.
was, and Randy's
He
the
heads
same
up the
way.
People's
Just
Militia
being
aimed at
smart and
protecting the
training.
farmlands
A lot of
of
these guys
Westfall.
just
I bet he could use your help.
bang way
You
too
can
much
usually
in
find it in the
practice.
stone tower in St.
And
Louis,
I'm
just
always
off the road
an
in the middle
advocate of
Westfall.
sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes in
I've
training.
got a
If
real
you're training to
problem
fight,
on
you
my
have to
I have a
fight and
deadline
train.
looming for an order of lumber, and
How
I'm
do you
running
know
out
how
of
to
time.
manage that?
The wolves and bears
Yeah, I think
north
over the
of here
years,
have chased my
you know,
workers
you
away
just
from the
you
bundles
definitely
of
have
wood
one.
that they've already chopped.
We have one hard,
I've already talked to Deputy
solid
Rayner about
spar
clearing
day
things,
a
but I
week,
need someone to go collect the wood
and
for
then
me. If
more
you could collect 8
technical
bundles
sparring.
of wood for me, I might just make my
Another
deadline.
day with the big gloves
The
on.
Defias
and
gang in Northshire wears burlap
the other
masks,
days of the MMA
but the
gloves,
Defias
you know,
in
we're
Elwyn
still
wear
going
linen,
hard,
which I
but
can
not
use to make
with
fine
the
linen
striking
goods.
part.
Bring me
Just
red
lighter
linen
strikes.
bandanas, and I'll use them
Which,
to
you know,
fashion
it's kind of
something
hard
for you.
sometimes. Some of these guys,
Defias
when they go
gang
lighter,
members
that
have
they're,
camps pocketed throughout
they
Elwyn.
slow down their punches instead of, keeping your speed there and your timing, and
Just
and
touching
not,
each other
and not
up.
punching
Yeah.
as hard. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a hard thing to get used to, and it took me a while to have that control. I would accidentally drop guys a lot in practice because I didn't have control when I was, kind of new to the sport.
Is there a way that you do now where you train guys to learn how to punch fast but not hit hard?
Yeah, you yell at them, but
That's
you
it.
don't do it in slow motion.
Yeah. Don't do it in slow motion, but also don't connect
You don't
full
need
clip.
to hit hard, but
Yeah.
don't go slow.
Yeah.
You just got to remind them because guys just do it naturally.
What's kind of crazy for you as a pioneer because you guys had to kind of
That
figure
word
it
makes me
out.
feel old.
A pioneer?
I hear it all
What's
the time.
What's a
now.
good word?
I don't know, but yeah,
But you
I think
are.
that is a good word. But
You're
it just does make me feel
You're
older.
the definition of a pioneer. I mean, UFC 17. I mean, come on, man. That's that was back in the dark days.
I feel like I should have a fucking pan to do some gold,
A
gold
headlamp
mining.
on and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. But I mean, there's no better word for it. But back then, you guys had to kind of learn along the way, and as the sport evolved. I've always said this, that there's not a sport that you could ever point to that has evolved more since 1993 to 2023.
Oh, no.
There's nothing even close. You
No.
watch fights today, like the Makachev-Volkanovski fight. I mean, everything's so high level now. Everyone's so good in
Right.
every aspect of the game.
Yeah, that was a good. I mean, their first one was a good one. That was I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect it either.
Yeah.
That guy evolved. He got better. He got better, and he figured out a lot of the things that he was doing wrong in that fight, and then setting up
Right.
that head kick with those body
I thought
kicks.
Volk was gonna get him this. I just felt like he had more tools and easier adjustments.
Did you ever have to take a fight like that on 10 days' notice? Because that's what's crazy about it. They took it so short notice.
Yeah, a number of times, especially in Pride, that was pretty common.
Yeah, Pride, they would just call you up like a week
I
before
fought-
the fight, right?
I fought Big Nog he was heavyweight champ at the time, on 10 days notice.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean there was a couple other. I fought Bustamante on probably a week's notice.
So when during the Pride days,
2.5 months after a knee surgery, a new ACL surgery.
No way.
They called me up, and I was hunting out in Colorado, and they tracked me down on my buddy's cell phone up in the mountains and said, "Hey, you need to." And I didn't have a contract at the time, and I went and had knee surgery because I tore my knee, and it's like, "Well, if you don't take the fight, we don't know what'll happen with any future contracts." So I'm like, "All right, I'll do it, but you're paying me, win or lose, you know, the win bonus also." And so I took the fight. Luckily, I knocked him out real quick with that knee. So, yeah.
Кръстът много ме боли. Направо не се търпи.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
It's interesting that even today there's different schools of thought. Like Sean Strickland spars basically every day,
Right.
whereas Max Holloway.
He was at my gym for like 3 years.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Was he? He's a wild boy.
Yeah. Kind of had to let him go.
Oh, did you? The crazier days.
Yeah, no, he just kind of gets too involved talking shit about people.
I can see that.
I liked him in the gym. I liked him there. He was a great training partner. And you need at least one guy
Yeah.
in your gym that does that and goes hard and makes everybody else go hard
Yeah.
when they're going against them. So I liked it, but
Other people didn't.
yeah, he just was too disrespectful to teammates and stuff. And,
I
yeah,
see.
and
How's the young Sean Strickland?
yeah,
He's
no, this
mature,
is a while.
right?
No, I definitely see that, and I'm always rooted for him when he left. It wasn't like I was like, I hope that guy,
Right.
No, I always rooted for him. I thought he had a ton of potential. I was yelling at him to go up a weight class because he was always trying to make 170.
Congratulations.
I'm like, dude, you need to go 185. You'd feel a lot better. You compete you'd be fine competing up there, but everybody's always mentally afraid to be against the bigger guys.
Yeah, he's a different fighter at 185 than he was at 170. At 170, you can see he was compromised. Just like he had him cut 25 pounds, easy, right?
Yeah, no, he's big.
He's way too big for 170. But when you saw his fight with Adesanya, were you shocked?
I only saw parts of that. I didn't see
Really?
the whole thing. I was somewhere else. I didn't get to see it.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, no, I saw parts of it, and yeah, he looked great.
He looked fucking amazing. The crazy thing is how good his defense is.
I thought he would do well against him. I didn't think he'd do well just standing up with him there. I mean, I thought Adesanya would outpoint him a little bit. But I thought Sean would take him down and beat the shit out of him if he got on top.
Well, that's a lot of people don't realize. Sean has a very good ground game.
No, very good. Yeah.
Very good. He just doesn't use it very often. He's black belt in jiu-jitsu, good wrestling, good takedown defense.
Right.
You know, he's solid everywhere, but he just loves to bang.
Right.
Loves to stand in front of guys.
He doesn't have like huge power. He's probably getting better at putting it in better places now. But he's not a big knockout guy, but he definitely adds them up and really, he's by far one of the biggest pressure fighters.
Yeah.
It just moves forward all the time.
Well, he's also able to do that because of his defense. His defense is so
he's
underrated.
hard to hit, yeah.
So underrated. And in that Adesanya fight, you saw it so clearly.
Yeah, he's really hard to hit.
So good at moving just out of distance and then putting more pressure back on you, checking those calf kicks.
He's quick.
Yeah. I was super impressed with that
Yeah.
fight.
And it's even more impressive, coming back from an accident like he had too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he talks about it. It's like, my quad's all fucked up on his right leg.
Right.
It's like his one leg is just like, the quad's not even attached.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, no, it's, but again, it just shows what the body can do if you just let it.
Yeah.
If you're just mentally tough enough to push through something.
Well, he changed his style a little bit because of it. He stands different than most people. He stands very straight up.
He always has.
Yeah? Always?
Yeah. When I'd spar him, I'd have to. I quit aiming for his head. I just aimed for his chest, and it kind of stopped him. And then I could, follow up. If I hit him in the chest, I could follow up and hit him again. But he's hard to hit.
Yeah, it's impressive, and he's the only guy doing that sort of Philly shell style at a championship level. It's like very interesting seeing him out there. He looks different than everybody else.
Yeah, he's quick. That really helps him not get hit also.
Yeah, but it's just also, I think, when we're going back to the different schools of thought in terms of sparring, he spars every day. It's most of his training.
Коста, ти си спира да излизаш, бе, брат.
See him fight Adesanya in the 5th round.
Ме са толпи, бе.
I mean, he looked like ready to go 5 more after that.
He's got just his natural ability is his cardio. Among he knows how to fight well too. But naturally, he just has cardio for days.
Well, I gotta think that has a lot to do with constantly sparring. So the sparring thing is there's not a lot of tension. Very loose and very composed. Very efficient.
Right.
Не гледай, действай с Кредирект и парите са при теб в брой или по сметка до 6000 лева. Без доказване на доход. Бързо, лесно, дискретно. Кредирект. И директно имаш пари.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, karate.
Balls of the feet, I meant.
Karate is underrated.
Dude.
Can you imagine the feeling?
Oh, head kick!
Oh,
Head
shit!
kick!
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Oh, Jesus.
What?
What?
He's out. Oh my God.
What the?
Look, he's saying calm down. Mark
He head
chips in.
kicked
Calm
him.
down.
Oh my God, he head kicked him.
Now you'll never see that fight again.
Oh
That's
my
the risk.
God.
That's the risk, fella.
God,
Wow.
what a shocker.
What a shocker.
No, you still, we're even now.
Bro.
God damn.
Head kicked him. Who would have saw that coming?
I didn't even see it.
It was amazing. Shin to the dome, son. Opened up a cut. It was perfect. Wow. Islam. Man. He showed a bunch of new shit. That front kick, and he was throwing that kick to the body, and then he threw the same kick to the head.
And taking on 10 days notice, you worry about his cardio going the later rounds. But this one, it is what it is.
That
It's
might
a
have
win.
been-
It's a legit win.
Oh, it's a solid win, man. The way it went down, I mean, this
Early
was
on.
not he was tired. This
not
was,
unprepared.
No, he got caught.
Yep.
He got caught with an amazing kick.
That would have happened with a 12-week camp, 10 days.
It very well could have. Very well could have. Very well could have. I mean, what he did.
Look at that, dude. I fucking love it. Look at that.
Well, he should. He saved the call.
Two champions.
What does he say?
Stop the war.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah.
2 different Muslims came up and said that.
Good for them, man.
Good for them.
Need more of that. That's awesome.
Good for them. But both fighters, Hamzat and him, said the same thing.
Yep.
Good for them.
Class acts. These people are just.
Well, Makachev.
Win. It's a legit win.
Yeah. Into the dome, son. Opened up a cut. It was perfect.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Islam. Man. He showed a bunch of new shit. That front kick, and he was throwing that kick to the body, and then he threw the same kick to the head.
And taking on 10 days notice, you worry about his cardio going the later rounds. With this one, it is what it is. It's a win. It's a legit win.
Oh, it's a solid win, man. The way it went down, I mean, they...
Мебели.bg. Създайте уют в дома си. Вашият дом, нашите мебели. Дивани за дълга почивка. Неустоими недобир материи. Хиляди...
Islam had about 15 hours to hydrate.
I mean, what he did... That's a good point of view of that.
Two champions. Gas. So as far as like him being bigger, not won't gas.
2 different Muslims came up and said that.
Yes. Need more of that.
Good
That's awesome.
for them. But both fighters, Hamzat and him, said the same thing.
Yep.
Good for them.
Class acts. These people are just.
Well, Makachev's definitely a class act.
Yeah.
I'm just so impressed that he won that. Went over just from the side. It was just.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Warley Alves, rather.
Thanks to you, I should be able
Man, that
to
looks
complete
exactly
your
like Makachev. I was like, is Makachev fighting already?
I would like to
have
offer
a beard
some
now.
coin as compensation for your trouble.
Just saying, they look
Thank you.
exactly.
It's such an interesting look, the beard with no mustache. If I was Hamzat and I had that big cut on my lip, I might want to get like a mustache.
Or you want to look scary like the Red Dragon.
No, I don't.
Abraham Lincoln spent 10 years in Dagestan showing him. You know, he wrestled.
Fuck off.
Look at his face. He's trying to pull this off.
He almost had me. He almost had me. He almost had me.
I'm telling you the truth. He
did wrestle. He was a wrestler.
It was a foreign exchange.
Dude, he kind of had me.
Bro, you just had that twinkle of joke in your eye that I can recognize.
Did you know Abraham Lincoln used to wrestle? He used to be a badass wrestler.
Wasn't he 6'6"?
Right?
Yeah.
He was legit.
Yeah, but
And he
Abraham
went
Lincoln was
all
a real
over Europe,
wrestler.
all over the Middle East, and he wrestled.
You know what else he wrestled was
That's
dicks
real.
in his
That's
butt.
real shit. What?
Yeah, Abe Lincoln had a side piece, dude. Look, it was his security guard, and they fought.
Really? How do you
And
know?
this isn't some.
Sir,
bring it up.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you to respect your country
I
a
think
little
there's
bit.
probably some long camping trips back there, and a lot of guys fucked.
But
I'm telling you, look at it.
I think it's some Brokeback
Abe
Mountain
Lincoln
shit.
was not banging guys.
Cold winners.
Cold winners.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Abe
saying.
Lincoln was an amazing wrestler. He influenced a lot of people all over the world in wrestling before he was a president.
Hey, and did they say his voice was really high?
He's making that up. He didn't travel. Nobody traveled back then.
Look, he's wrestling.
Can you imagine if you had a...
That picture right there, that was taken in Russia, an hour south of Moscow. An hour.
Do you have any idea how long it would take to get to Russia from fucking Pennsylvania?
Okay,
For a wrestling match?
No, for your
second.
information,
By
the
boat
boat, the
and
ferry from the East Coast to England, that's 30 days. So that's 30 days. And then you take a wagon to fucking...
As he's training on the boat.
4 months flies by.
He's just eating beef jerky and training on the boat.
He'll
No
be in
food.
Kazakhstan in no time.
We don't have many troops to spare.
They traveled in blimps back then. That's a history that's been erased. People were traveling all over the world. No, now I'm like being real. You want to get real?
Oh, no.
No, they had blimps in the 1800s that were traveling all over the world.
Eddie.
Well, they definitely did when they built the Empire State
Dude,
Building.
I'm telling you.
Coleman
that people
Hughes was
used to
showing
travel
us
on
that
blimps.
the other day. When Coleman was here, he explained that the Empire State Building, they made it so high because they were going to park blimps at the top.
Dude, that's what they did
That's
back
real?
then.
Yeah, but they didn't do it.
Your favorite game is becoming
Всякакви брат.
brand new.
I love it. I was born Catholic. And hell to me.
It's possible the artist felt the same way you did. He was like,
It was like, dude, why don't you use the part where he resurrected and he's on like over a meadow or something?
Maybe the artist wasn't a Christian.
But
Maybe he
hold
was-
on a second.
None of them were.
What
None
is
of
he
them were.
coming
They were
out
all
of?
lying.
Is that the ground? What is that?
Supposed to be hell.
How do you know?
He's resurrecting from hell. He went to hell and then he resurrected.
Jesus went to hell? Why would Jesus go to hell? That doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's in the scripture.
Okay.
So that doesn't. What is that image?
All right.
The art behind
And he's getting a
It
little
looks
carried
like hell
away.
to me. It looks like a Slayer album cover.
the restoration of the statue of the.
Of the resurrection. Pull that up, the sculpture, and you tell me if that's Jesus. Look up the. This is in the Vatican Cathedral.
Okay.
Well, the notion of and then we have the bishops. They talk to Jesus like once a month, and then the priests every now and then. And all of a sudden, they created rock stars, dudes with power. The Pope has power. He talks to Jesus every day. Cardinals, bishops, priests, right? So come on back. We got Jesus for you. They made Jesus into like
You're
some
telling
soup, which can be considered Luciferian.
Frank Rudy, there it is.
Yeah. So
Vatican's gay overlords, a sensational new book minds, Catholic Church, sexual secrets.
And he's gay, that guy, Frank Bruni.
Will right-wing homophobes exploit it? Frank Bruni's gay?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for a gay guy, it's got to be a bittersweet thing to know that the gay wizards control everything to do with the Catholic Church, and they even dress like gay wizards.
Well, when you look at the history of the Vatican, when you look at the history, Constantine decided to convert to Christianity because the people were leaving. The people were like, fuck that. So this is mainstream history. Constantine goes, okay, I'm no longer pagan / Luciferian. I'm no longer ancient Babylonian shit. We like Christ too. We're gonna do Christ. We got our own. This is mainstream. We're gonna start the Roman Catholic Church. We're gonna have a pope. He talks to Jesus like every day. We're gonna have cardinals. They talk to Jesus like once a week. And then we have the bishops. They talk to Jesus like once a month. And then the priests every now and then. And all of a sudden they created rock stars, dudes with power. The Pope has power. He talks to Jesus every day. Cardinals, bishops, priests, right? So come on back. We got Jesus for you. They made Jesus into like
You're
some
telling
soup.
us things we already know.
No, but what I'm saying is they were never into Jesus. It was never about Jesus.
We know that, yeah.
Yeah, so when you look at the Vatican, you're like, man, the Vatican.
Constantine didn't convert to Christianity until right before he died.
No, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but there was always like a debate about it. But there was always a debate, right? So when you look at the Vatican, they have a lot of fucking Luciferian shit. Look at the resurrection. Look at the sculpture of the resurrection. Pull that up, the sculpture, and you tell me if that's Jesus. Look up this is in the Vatican Cathedral.
Okay.
The sculpture of the resurrection.
Eddie, have you ever
it
been?
does not look like
Eddie,
Jesus.
have you ever been to the Vatican?
I've seen a lot of videos on
You
it.
should go. You should go.
It's amazing.
Just to see it. It's pretty fucking
The
stunning.
sure it is.
notion
I'm sure
of
it's
drinking the
fascinating.
blood of Christ and eating his
Look at
flesh.
this. Look at this. This is
All
their
the
main
demons.
church. That's supposed to be Jesus right there. It looks like a Slayer album cover.
Well,
that looks like Hell Awaits.
It's an artist's rendering.
That looks like Hell Awaits. Slayer right there. So they're saying.
Pull up the.
So
go
this
close
is
in on it, Jamie, so I can see what it looks
this is
like.
supposed to represent the resurrection of Jesus. How come you couldn't show the part? How come you didn't show the part where he's like in front of a meadow and he resurrected and there's children running in the meadow?
This is an artist. It's not like the Mona Lisa represents all women. Yeah. This is a guy's depiction.
Dude, this is in the Vatican. This is their main church. This is the main church.
Eddie, please. Can I just see what that looks like?
Come on, man.
It's beautiful.
Pull up.
It's an artist.
Take close in on.
It's hell. That's hell.
Jamie. Same picture. Same
They
picture.
chose hell.
Just go back to that same picture.
Blurry, that's as close as I can
Oh,
get.
okay.
Dude, they chose the part where he's rising out of hell. You should have chose the
But
part
is that what
where
it's-
he's in the sky with the clouds.
But is that what it's supposed to represent?
Yes.
How do
Him
you know that's
resurrecting from hell.
He's coming out of the ground. It looks like roots. But those things in the bottom aren't faces.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Are they?
I don't even want to argue.
It's possible.
No,
that
I'm
the-
asking,
it's part
man.
of
I'm not
the
arguing.
It
I'm
looks like
what is
hell
that?
to me.
It's possible the
those-
art.
What
None
is
of
he
them-
coming
they
out
were all
of?
lying.
Is that the ground? What is that?
It's supposed to be hell.
How do you know?
He's resurrecting from hell. He went to hell and then he resurrected.
Jesus went to hell? Why would Jesus go to hell? That doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's in the scripture.
Okay.
So that doesn't. What is that image?
All right.
The art behind the nuclear bomb crater. Who of it? I don't know how
He's
piece
not
of
gay.
shit
Sorry, Frank. Gay. That's not the guy who wrote.
position or about this guy who created
Maybe
it.
they're into Jesus. Maybe I'm jumping to
By the
conclusions.
way, I said Frank Bruni's gay. That's not the guy who wrote the book. That's,
You piece.
Here's another
take this
part of
time
the
to like maybe a tongue that comes out.
Was that Jesus?
St. Peter's when you it's Basilica. My whole life.
Go there.
Really have to.
Like it took him. Wasn't that? That's never. It was commissioned by a.
Did they
Cosmologist
called
I feel like
born a lot
in Arizona.
It's
named
real,
by
Brian.
Jesuit
Eddie's
astronomers.
actually.
How
I
big is
know.
it?
He's not making.
To see how weird it is.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of it, man, and I love it.
But I mean, in person,
I love it.
in person, it's strange. What does that say? Lucifer instrument helps astronomers see through darkness.
It's at the Vatican. I'm
Lucifer
trying to tell you.
telescope.
You think I'm retarded
It's
or
in
what?
Arizona.
In Arizona, mine by Jesuit.
The
astronomers.
Vatican has an observatory in Arizona
It's
named
real,
by
Brian.
Jesuit
Eddie's
astronomers.
actually.
How
I
big is
know. He's not making it up.
I'm like
Let's
bullshit.
see.
Today. Like, oh,
Let's see how big it is. It's amazing the Vatican would
How
call
about
it.
Eddie?
The Vatican is the one
amazing
behind
that
killing
the
Christ.
Vatican, amazing that the
They're trying to kill that
amazing
Christ.
that the Vatican would have a telescope and they name it Lucifer. Go to that. Click on that link.
Yeah, why'd they name it Lucifer?
Exactly.
'Cause
It's,
it
it's an acronym for something, but it just so happens to be
No.
Lucifer. Yes, it is. It's like,
No, really?
That's them just.
that's what they say. Lucifer stands for something. They say it stands for something. It stands for like some kind of linear,
You know what
whatever.
they say? You better stand for something or you'll fall for everything.
Yeah.
Part of the Mount.
Second biggest telescope.
You
though.
sure that's the name?
Eddie.
They call it Lucifer.
Incidents.
Stratus Christ.
They had to change it.
That's crazy.
This is all.
What's wrong?
Can you imagine?
Picked.
I know Earth. Our radius of Earth. Come on, man.
We dig it.
Damn.
Blah blah blah. Answer or nicknames that
Constantine was paid.
I thought
He
there was
said
some
he didn't
debate.
convert. Yeah,
But I
there was
thought-
like, but the still, but it's part of everything.
Insinuating this doesn't make any sense.
Eddie, this has become a sacrifice.
That is.
Don't hack off any dicks. Let's wait
I
till
never
the
said
pizza
that.
arrives.
I never said that.
Are we getting pizza?
Wait till the pizza arrives.
Catholicism.
Heavyweight division.
I got a little excited about
The
that. Was there
Catholic
pizza?
Church loves Jesus.
Bro.
Как ще умра Лориера, брат?